guys, it's Melinda from melindaz.com. Welcome to day 3 already of our 4-part series on forgiveness. So have you ever noticed how you can just really hold on to past mistakes long after they've occurred, like even months, weeks, years, decades? And sometimes we can even experience flashbacks where we think back to an event that happened in the past and we can cringe just remembering it, and we can even feel the emotions that we felt at the time as though they were fresh, as though they were real. We berate ourselves with the whole like, what if I had done this, that, or the other thing, and if only I had done this, that, and the other thing. And we really beat ourselves up. And by doing so, we stall our own personal growth, and we just are not able to get past these roadblocks to move on down this pathway towards happiness that we're trying to get to. We're weighed down by the past, and we want to release that. I'd actually encourage you to revisit video number 3 in our library about negative self-talk, because elements of negative self-talk are so similar to self-forgiveness. And of course, if you have been with us for the last 2 days, there are 2 other videos to revisit. We have the forgiveness overview, and yesterday we talked about forgiving others. So today, let's move on to forgiving ourselves. By doing so, we can live a life of freedom, happiness. There'll be less anxiety, and we'll have increased self-confidence. And who doesn't want that? But that said, self-forgiveness is a process. And if you're not used to it, it can be a daunting one. So whatever it is that you need to forgive yourself for, here are some tips to do so. Number 1 is just become clear on what your principles and beliefs are right now. Because once you realize what they are now, you might notice that they were not that in the past. And oftentimes we feel guilt or shame because what we did in the past does not align with our current beliefs and our current principles. And that's okay, because we did the best we could with what we knew at the time, right? We are constantly evolving. And now that we are clear in what we have now and what we believe now, then it's easier to identify the whys of why we are hurt by what we've done in the past, or why other people have hurt us in the past. And speaking of the past, we have to realize that the past is the past. I said it yesterday, and I won't say too much more about it, but we cannot change the past. It happened. We can accept it, though, and once we accept it, we can move on. We could even create a do-over. This is a pretty intense exercise, but if we wanted to, we could identify our biggest regrets and then tackle them head on. We could write down or visualize what we would have done differently in the past if we could go back, and how we would handle it if we could do it again. And by doing that, not only do we learn from our past mistake, which is always important, but we now know that we have the skill set currently to handle it in a different way if we were to encounter that again. So that can be overwhelming, but sometimes facing something head on like that will help to eradicate it from our mind. It'll help to dissipate it from our consciousness, and it won't be something that is so present in our life anymore. It is the past, and it's going to stay there. Sometimes if a regret doesn't appear to improve, then we might have to just go a little harder, work a little bit more, literally apologize to it, and then move on, clear out the conscience. So we have to start acting in accordance with those current beliefs and those current principles that we talked about. If we can acknowledge who we are now, if we can be solid in what our belief system is now, if we can recognize ourselves for all the things that we've overcome to get to where we are now, then we can find a point of pride in all of that. That's a success story right there. We can replace those negative thoughts that hinder us and adopt some positive thinking about ourselves, and that's going to help build up our self-esteem. That's going to help invigorate our self-love store. It's all good there. And we'd have to turn the page So accept things and cut ourselves some slack. That's giving ourselves some consistent compassion moving forward. We're learning new behaviors. We're learning new thought patterns. And it's the exact same thing as if we were learning a new skill. We need a little bit of time to get our stride, to get the hang of things, and we're going to continue to make mistakes. We're human. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of how we handle those and what we learn from them. We all do it. So accept it and give yourself a break. Lastly, adopt self love. If we can think kind thoughts about ourselves, if we can show ourselves some compassion, then when and if those flashbacks do happen, we can feel them and let them go. They will come less and less as well because we're going to be replacing them with more positive memories, with more positive things that are on the forefront of our mind, and it's going to push the negative stuff back where it belongs. However, if you feel like this isn't as easy for you, I understand. If you feel like you need some professional help in this arena, please, I encourage you to seek it. You are worth it. And no matter what, make sure that you've surrounded yourself with some supportive people who really love you and are going to help you get to where you want to go. You are more than your past mistakes. So forgive yourself and move on with a clean slate. I'm always talking about the clean slate, right? Tomorrow, we have our mini masterclass on forgiveness. So I hope I see you there.